Hey everyone, it's me, Corrie Sommers, your local Los Angeles luxury realtor. Today I'm here with Penny, who is an acupuncturist, and we're going to talk all about her business. And you guys, trust me, there's some exciting things to check out. Stay tuned. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please take a moment to click that subscribe button and the bell below. We'll be right back. Hi, it's me, Corrie Sommers again. This is Penny. Penny is a acupuncturist. Now, I know I've seen acupuncturists around and I've heard that there's great benefits, and I've never done it yet. I haven't been bold enough. And so I'm actually excited that we're going to be talking about this because I want to be able to share with people what exactly you do, what are the benefits, and all of that. But before we even jump there, what made you choose acupuncture?
Well, I've always been interested in natural medicine, and maybe almost 15 years ago, I started working at an acupuncture college. I was just kind of curious about it, but not ready to make the leap. And I was just working in the office, but slowly I started taking books out of the library and sitting in on classes, and I got into the Tai Chi classes and the herbal medicine classes, and then eventually after maybe almost 2 years, I was like, I think I'm obsessed with this, and I started school for it, and it was a 4-year program, and I still love it now.
I know once I had met with a nutritionist that was Chinese medicine and did some herbs to try to like balance out my digestion, just because I was kind of having a little struggle at the moment. And so it was kind of interesting because they had like all these different herbs, and she would mix things, and she'd be like, okay, this is going to be like mud, but just put hot water in it, and the taste is not so bad. And I'm like, okay, and the taste wasn't that bad. And so that was very interesting. I think to know that much about so many different things and what kind of benefits it can give, I think is pretty powerful.
So as far as the mud water goes, I did that more in the beginning of my practice, and I found that patients weren't so compliant with drinking it.
Yeah.
So now I have a lot of tablets and patents and easy to take formulas that are for so many different things, from pain to fertility to digestive issues. So there's probably like 100 formulas back there. And then I even made some of my own for fertility and women's health. But they're all in capsules and tablets, unless someone really wants to drink the mud water, and then I'll still do it. But mostly it's made to be more convenient and modern.
Awesome. So something you just said kind of made my ears perk up a little bit, just because I've had challenges with my thyroid and hormones and all of that. So you mentioned fertility. Your practice, you're able to help with fertility, or how does acupuncture work with that? And the herbs as well. I'm assuming there's some kind of play going on.
Yeah. So it's true. I see women through all ages, through all the hormonal issues that come up, from early puberty through fertility, through menopause. Fertility is obviously a fun one because you get to see a really exciting result. I love when people's shoulders feel better, but seeing a baby is very exciting.
That's proof it's working.
Yes, and I've gotten a lot of pictures of babies and really sweet messages and things as a result. But yeah, it's very effective. I think a lot of people don't know about it. It's starting to be more common in reproductive health centers. Like reproductive endocrinologists will often have acupuncturists that they have relationships with or in-house. But I've seen women that have been trying to get pregnant for many years. And some of them, even within a few months, have had great success. And honestly, I've never been the best at marketing, but people showing their baby and telling what happened has been a great way that a lot of women have come for fertility, and so it's been a big part of my practice and one of my favorite things to treat.
So I'm going to ask you this question because I feel like here in Los Angeles we're fortunate that there's a lot of doctors that focus on things about health of the body, balance of the body, even age versus the balance and health, and how that, despite your age number, if those things being equal or sustaining, then you're actually a little bit younger physiologically. Is that the right word, physiologically? So in that with you dealing with fertility issues, are you finding women that are like in their 40s or kind of getting to that hump? Are you working with them, or is this strictly women that are maybe in their 30s?
Oh yeah, lots of women in their 40s. So we are all born with a set number of eggs. That is true. But when they measure your AMH and they tell you, okay, this is your ovarian reserve, this is how many eggs you have left, what I think they're not measuring is the ones that are not showing up as viable. So the more blood and oxygen and the more ATP the cells have, the more that all of them can show up as viable. And I've seen the ovarian reserve change on women when they tell them that that's it and it will never change. So I've seen it countless number of times. So nothing is set. There's always hope and options and a lot we can do.
That's super encouraging. I think the one thing that I usually hear about is the FSH number. I have a friend who a couple years ago was on this mission of she was going to have a kid alone. So she was seeing a fertility specialist and doing all that, and then she was also doing all these like trenches and stuff, and then she later decided she wasn't going to go about it alone, which I was like, phew. So I was like, what are you doing? Not that having a baby is anything wrong with that. I think wonderful, but I think you should do it with someone if you
it's
can.
A lot of work, but
right?
I support everyone in all the ways they want to do it, but it's a lot of work.
But so in hearing a bit of her journey, it was always the thing that I heard the most was that FSH number. That's the follicle, right? So
here's something about all of the hormone counts that when I first started, I used to carry around the sheet because I would be like, oh, okay, the FSH is supposed to be between this. Their AMH is supposed to be this. Their LH is supposed to be this. And then as I started working with women, I started realizing that that is a Western mindset and that I am practicing Chinese medicine. So what I try to do is find the imbalance in the yin, the yang, and the qi. So if someone is continually not being able to support a pregnancy, let's say, for us, that's, there's a few things it can be, but one thing, for example, is qi deficiency. They're not supporting it. It's just not being held. So there's points we can do to help support their qi, and which will in turn create higher progesterone and will support a healthier pregnancy. But for me, I'm focusing on their qi, their spleen qi to be exact. And then other women, it's a yin deficiency. So they're sweating, they're hot, and so we have to nourish their fluids. For some women, it's more of a yang deficiency. They're cold, they may have thyroid issues, they gain weight easily.
Stuff.
So supporting them in nourishing, kind of strengthening their yang, tonifying them, may help their fertility journey. So for everyone, it's not like one size fits all. It's not necessarily reading their lab reports, which I still do, but I'm not as uptight about what everything has to be. It's more finding the balance for each person and doing whatever herbs or whatever points help bring them into balance so that they can have a baby more easily.
So let's say someone that has, we'll talk about two different challenges, and just because I'm kind of curious, like I have a thyroid issue, so, and I get cold, I get freezing cold easy, even in the summer. Like once I get cold, I'm cold. It's like, it's a wrap. My mother's like, there's something wrong with you because everyone else is hot and I'm like, I'm freezing cold. Like how many sessions would you need to work with someone to try to balance things out or to get that moving better? So I have everyone has different kind of needs, but also different amounts that they can come in. Someone might be working all the time, or a mom that has to be with their kid all the time. So sometimes they'll come in, we'll do a session, we'll kind of see what's going on. I will give them herbs and they can feel a difference after the first session and can take the herbs and can check in and come as needed. Most people that are coming have more of a goal, so they're trying to get pregnant, or they've been bleeding for 8 weeks straight, or they're trying to get their period back and they have amenorrhea, or they're going through menopause and they want to stop their hot flashes. So I would say coming once a week for 3 cycles is what I usually give women. Okay. So it's not always manageable and it's not always necessary, but that is pretty good to set someone up to continue. And see some change or something?
People will start to see changes pretty quickly, but it's just about what's manageable for your schedule, how much you have to do at home. I always do topical herbs in here and infrared. So for someone with yang deficiency, you can kind of penetrate herbs through the pores and do a bit to get your body jump started so it continues to do that on its own. And sometimes like younger people will be like, oh wow, I feel great, I feel different, and I'll see you when I see you, like I'll take my herbs.
Yeah.
And other people will be like, I feel good, and then in a few days they'll check in with me and they'll say it was much easier for me to stay warm or to stay cool or whatever it is, but now I'm starting to feel a little more stressed, or I'm starting to feel more this way. And so they kind of know, okay, their body's starting to veer out of balance, and it's maybe about a week before they have to come back into balance. And the longer we keep kind of putting them back into balance, the longer it will stay that way and they won't need me anymore.
That's amazing that you can do so much to help with pregnancy, hormonal balance, even like thyroid disease. We'll have to talk a little more. What are some of the other things that you're seeing people coming and seeing you for, like some of the other benefits?
So in the past year or so, there's been a lot of people coming in for stress, mental, emotional balancing.
Yeah.
So
COVID.
yeah, I have people that actually say it's their therapy. I mean, talk therapy is great, but for some people, more of a somatic release is helpful.
Yeah.
So people will come in and I'll even feel their energy is just wound
Changed.
up. They were reading the news, they were working, they were whatever they were doing, and they come in, they get on the table. Sometimes they're like, want to talk about everything, and I'll listen for a bit, and then I'll say, let's just get on the table. And then I'll start needling them, and I can just feel their energy kind of quieting. And then after laying for 30 minutes with the needles in, and then oftentimes it's always included, if people are up for it, we'll do some cupping at the end. And between like the session and the cupping, people usually leave in a much better place.
That's amazing. Now, I know that when I very, very first heard about acupuncture, I was like, what, needles? But then someone told me they're very small, and you guys sterilize them. Do you use the same needles over, or is it new needles?
No
Like, let's share about that to like make you feel comfortable.
No sterilizing. First thing is that they are all put into a sharps container, and I actually don't know what happens to them. I hope they're not just like in a hole in the earth somewhere, I hope. But they're definitely not reused. So they all come in packs that are sealed. I open it up. Each person has their own needles. They're sterile. It's not even just clean. It's a sterile pack of needles. And at the end, they go into a sharps container, and it's taken away to a hazardous waste place, and I don't know what happens to it, but
we all trust that they're doing the right thing.
I hope they're doing the right thing with them, and I actually have never looked into it.
I know it's one of those things, just like when you flush the toilet, we never think about that. It just goes away. So hopefully they're doing the right thing.
They're doing something great with it, or at least okay with it, but they're definitely not being reused. The other thing you mentioned is the size of the needles, and they are extremely thin. I actually did my residency at Children's Hospital, and so it was in the pain ward there, so the kids would get acupuncture, and they'd first see me with some needles, and they'd be like, get away from me. And then after having one session, we would call them cat whiskers because they're so thin, and be like, look, they look like a cat whisker, and they kind of warm up to me a little bit. And then I would put them in, and I'd just do a few, but they were so thin, and it can be so gentle that they would feel better enough afterwards that basically on the second time of seeing me, they would be like, hi, Penny, and like ready to get needled again. So like 5-year-olds can get acupuncture, and they're okay with it. So they're pretty thin, manageable.
I feel like this is so interesting. Like there's so many benefits that I really didn't know about that acupuncture has to offer. So I definitely want to try it. For those that haven't tried it, is this something that insurance covers, or is this strictly an out-of-pocket expense for people? Like, how does that work?
I do take insurance. Some insurance companies are more open to it than others, but I can always look into it for everybody. PPO plans often cover acupuncture, or at least will pay a percentage of it, or people pay out of pocket. It's not too expensive, and everything that we do during the session is always included. So there's never going to be any tricks. No, I charge $90 right now, and anyone who comes in will get cupping, we'll get infrared, we'll get topical herbs, we'll get a consultation, we'll get an herbal recommendation. So a lot happens during a session.
And how long are most sessions?
They're all an hour always.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, I have all her contact information below, so you can definitely reach out, set an appointment. I'm going to, and who knows, maybe we'll do a follow-up video. We'll see. But if you're looking for more of a natural way to approach your health or body balancing, or, you know, like me, you might have like some issue that just other things aren't really working, you want to give this a try, give Penny a call, come in, see her at least once, see if you notice anything, if you feel anything, or if there's maybe something that we haven't talked about while we're talking right here today that, you know, has been a concern for you, and that this really could help with. I think it's well worth a visit. And I want to thank you so much for making the time to get together with me today to share about your business. I know you're located here in Toluca Lake, but hey, Toluca Lake is pretty accessible no matter which part of Los Angeles you're in, so it's worth the drive. And that said, everyone, thank you so much for watching this interview today. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please don't forget to click the subscribe button below, as well as that bell for updates, because we are doing more and more of these interviews with local neighborhood businesses, as well as all the other real estate content that I do. Thank you so much, Penny.
Of course, thank you for having me.
So just one last thing for all of you guys that have waited to the very end. There's 3 treatment rooms here. And Penny, I know you were mentioning cupping and infrared. So is that the infrared light over there?
This is the infrared lamp. The other one has 2 infrared lamps, the other treatment room. And I will use it often on areas that need a little extra attention, a little extra energy or blood going to the area. We'll use it on the abdomen, on shoulders, on low backs, and then there's different topicals that can be used in conjunction with the infrared. Some of them are heat activated, so it's good to have a little extra heat with the benefit of infrared added in too.